Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of Duel Generation, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Generation. This episode's going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be telling you how I use it, how to do whatever I do in this game. Because, you know, sometimes you want help and this might be a better way to visual of how to build a deck, how to apply what you learn in-game to real life, and how to basically get the best experience from this game. So let's jump straight in. So, the main menu shows pretty much everything you need to know: the campaign, the deck editor, the multiplayer, the leaderboards, and the help. On the bottom left is your icon, username, and this little green button, which takes you to the shop. So here are the decks that you can buy with dual points. So I actually use dual points to buy the Star Seraph deck, which is good, which is one of my favourite decks at the moment to use. Over here you can buy some bonus boosters for 600 dual points. You get 5 cards, and you can scroll through them. I've got a new pendulum monster, that's cool. Premium decks cost real money. They're worth it a lot, and you can get support for them as well for a little bit more money. And it is worth it if you really want to use a deck that you can't access via dual points, or you can't build because it's not giving you the cards or whatever. So if I go into deck editor, you can see the ones that I use. I have 9 decks that I use with 8 decks that I use a lot, and one deck that I use to just try out things. So I bought the Chronomaly, the Black Rose, the Gem Knight, the DDD or the Declan deck, and the Photon deck because, you know, they were my favourites at the time. Really not expensive, and it's not bad. So let's go into this one, and I can show everything off. So, yeah, I have new cards. Okay. So let's go to new, and I'll talk about everything. On the right, you have all the cards in my trunk. So this is mixed up at the moment to monster spells and traps, and, you know, special monsters. The one below the main deck slot, which can contain 60 cards, by the way, is just the filtering slot. The red box is the extra deck slot, which is very important because that contains all of your special monsters. So Xyz, Fusion, Synchro, and Pendulum monsters to an extent. Link monsters do not exist in this game, but they are in real life, so we'll move on to those at another point. The bottom deck is the side deck box. So your side deck is the deck that you want to have as extra leftover cards. So if you're ever dueling, doing a 2 in a row duel, so like best 2 out of 3, after the first duel you can choose to switch cards from your side deck to your main deck if you think that'll give you a bit of an advantage. So let's have a look at the main deck. So if I go to the filter option, I can filter all my monster spells and traps by loads of different effects. So let's just select normal monster. On the right, it is filtered them all down to normal monsters, which you can tell by the yellow appearance. When I click on a monster, it'll bring it up on the left, the picture. You can click on to zoom in and have a look at all its stats. So you can see the bottom left, it's a light type monster. The little witch means it's a spellcaster, as it says on the card. And on the description. This is a normal monster, so it doesn't have an effect, and you have its attack and defense down there. So to put them in your deck, basically, you just pick up and drag. And it counts how many cards. This is a really good effect of this game. It counts how many cards you have. You can use this if I put a lot in, and then I select the filtering grid for effect monsters, and then I put a couple of effect monsters in. I can then use the filter to see how many effect monsters I have, how many normal monsters, and how to do all that. Okay, so that's how. So choosing effect and normal monsters is rather simple. You get the idea of that. So you can have 60 cards in your deck, and I would recommend having a very good mix of normal and effect monsters sometimes, mostly effect monsters in my eyes, unless you have a deck that works with normal monsters, and that's fine, you can have that, no one's judging. You've got to have a good mix of monsters, spells and traps, unless your deck does not use spells and traps, like super heavy samurai. So the next thing we're going to do is, if you look at the card type, the next one is Fusion monsters. So Fusion monsters are purple in colour, you can see it on the right, and as we went over with Fusion monsters, you have to have the Fusion materials in your deck in order to summon them. So let's have a look at this. So let's have a look at one of the Gem Knights. Gem Knight Lady Lapis Lazuli. This is a fusion monster, which means it goes down here in the side deck. Listed on the card, underneath its rock fusion effect, are the monsters it needs to summon. So this would need Gem Knight Lapis plus 1 Gem Knight monster. So what we do is we'll go to the search bar, and we will type in Gem Knight. And if we unfilter the filter, that's wrong. Let's filter it with Lapis, because that's much easier to spell. There we are. We can get Gem Knight Lapis and put that in our main deck. You can have up to 3 of the same card in your deck. It will stop you if you have more than 3. And then you can go to your effect monsters or your normal monsters, because Gem Knights have a lot of normal monsters. Go to G, and there you go, Gem Knight Lazuli. Fusion monsters don't always have to have polymerization, but you do have to have a relevant fusion spell. So if we go into our spells, we can see we're in normal, field, equip, continuous, quick play, and ritual. It sorts them out all for you. If you don't want to see and you just want to scroll through them all, just click off it and you can have a look at all of them. So, as I said, this is a fusion monster, so it'll either need a polymerization or another card that works with fusion summons of that caliber. So this Gem Knight fusion. The next section in the monster cards is Ritual. Ritual monsters are incredibly difficult to use, and if you use Ritual monsters, it can be easy. Here are some tips. So let's have a look at a Ritual monster. Let's get one of my favourite ones, Saphira, Queen of Dragons. So Ritual monsters are blue in colour. If you want to learn more about Ritual monsters, or Fusion monsters for that matter of fact, go and see the live action video ones that I have, that I will be putting up on my channel at some point. The Fusion one, the Effect one, and the Normal Monster one is already out, along with one episode of Spells. So Saphira, Queen of Dragons, let's have a look. So when you click on it, you can see it's blue in colour, and it tells you how to summon it. So this card needs the ritual card Hymn of Light. Now, this is easy because we can go to... That's traps. You can go to Ritual cards. So, and then when you click OK, you can see all of the different rituals that come up. So this one's Hymn of Light. Just so happens I have 2. So when you need that, you put them all in there. As you can see, ritual monsters go in my main deck, not my extra deck. They go in my main deck. So they must be used in my main deck. I will tell you more about how to use ritual monsters in another episode. But right now, this is just creating a deck and how to create that. You can have as many ritual monsters as you want. Just make sure you have the monsters that you need to use. So ritual monsters also require you to ritual summon. Your Hymn of Light will tell you that you must tribute monsters from your hand or fields whose levels equal the ritual monster's level. So that means you have to have at least one monster. At least one monster that's level 6 or more, or a variety of monsters that equal level 6 or more. After ritual monsters, you have synchro monsters. Introduced in 5Ds, you can see they're white in colour, and their summoning conditions are listed underneath the dragon synchro effect there for Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. So like fusion monsters, they go in your extra deck. As you can see here on Black Rose Dragon, it requires 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner monsters. Now luckily, along with attributes, levels, attack and defense, types, it has subtypes. Subtypes include normal, toon, spirit, union, or Gemini, or tuner. So we're going to click tuner, and now we have all of the different tuner monsters that we own. So let's have Flamdell Gold. They go in our main deck, and they can be normal or effect monsters. They can even be synchro monsters or fusion monsters. I'm not sure about Xyz monsters, because they're not Xyz monsters because they don't have levels. So yeah, that's synchro monsters. If you want to know a bit more about synchro monsters, I will be going over it in real life, so stick around for that. And after that, you've got Xyz monsters. Xyz monsters are black in colour. Let's get my favourite one. They're black in colour, and as you can see, the biggest difference between them is they don't have levels. They have little black stars up in the top corner. That is its rank, because Xyz monsters have ranks. So Chronomaly Machi Mech is rank 5. So it's got attack 2400 and defense 1500. Xyz monsters, as you probably have worked out by now, go in your extra deck, and as you can see here, it requires 2 level 5 monsters. Does that mean I'm fusing them together? No. Instead, I will get 2 level 5 monsters, so let's get Chronomaly Moai and Chronomaly Moai Carrier. These 2 level 5 monsters, I will have to summon out onto the field and overlay them. If you want to know how to overlay, watch one of my previous episodes on this. I did use my Chronomaly deck at one point, so look, that's how you overlay in this game, but I will be going over how to overlay both in this game and in real life. So if you want to Xyz summon, in fact, any of these summoning methods, I will be showcasing it in some way, so don't worry about it. But Xyz monsters go here. Xyz monsters are very useful, in fact, as well as getting over with the cards that stop monsters of a certain level from using abilities or attacking. So yeah. After that, you've got Pendulum monsters, I believe. Yes. Pendulum monsters are 2 different colours. Pendulum monsters are very complicated, so I will be doing a whole separate episode on those. They have lots of effects and can be very confusing, so we'll leave them there, but they go in your main deck. Except when they're destroyed, they then go to your extra deck. But they don't go in your main extra deck at the beginning. You only can put them in your extra deck when they are destroyed by battle or card. So that takes us back to our normal monsters. So you can see all of the different attributes on the side. So have a play around to see what you like about that. Spell cards exactly the same. You can go wherever you want. Field. Have a look at all the field spells that you have, and you can put as many as you want in that one. Quick tip: a lot of spell cards work with different types of monster. So, I have a quick tip for those who want to use what's it called? Ritual summoning. So I'm actually going to find a card that's one of my favourites at the moment. It's called Pre-Preparation of Rites. It's a very, very good spell card, as it, when you use it, you're allowed to add 1 ritual spell card from your deck or to your hand, and then add 1 ritual monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand whose name is on that ritual spell card. So you can pretty much guarantee yourself a ritual summon with that. It's very, very good. Traps, very much the same. You can have a look at all the different types of traps you have. And as I said, you can have up to 60 cards, minimum 40 cards. 40 card is your minimum limit, so have up to, and as close as you get to the 40 card limit, the easier it will be to draw the cards that you want. So if you have 60 cards, it's going to be quite difficult to get if you only get one specific card, if you want that one specific card. So if you have less monsters, there's more chance of drawing that card. So yeah, I'll be going over that in a whole nother episode, but thank you for watching this episode of a basic tutorial. If you have any questions, leave them below and I will be happy to answer any of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next one. Bye! That's not what I meant to do.